Caseworker Visits. Overview. Frequent quality visits with children in foster care are essential to their safety and well-being at all ages. At each developmental stage, their needs change, and so does the focus of the visit. Every visit should include an assessment of risk and safety, needs and services, and progress on goals, particularly with older children. And always, spend time alone with the child. Assess foster parents' needs and provide support, and identify next steps. This is an overview of a series of 8 brief videos that highlight key best practice suggestions for 6 foster child visit scenarios, some helpful tips for supervisors, and hear from a former foster youth about what he valued most about visits from his caseworker. Here are some clips. Visits with pre-verbal infants and toddlers focus on observation of the safety of the environment and the health of the child.
Good to see you guys. How you been? Good? Oh, you look good.
Visits with elementary-age children include discussions about school and friends.
So, can you show me your homework?
Sure.
I know you're in a new school right now, and you're learning some new things. Can you tell me what you liked most about your new class today?
Well, I like math and science.
You like math and science? What did you like about math and science?
Well, in science, I can do experiments. In math, well, that's just my favorite subject because I'm good at it.
Visits with tweens and teens should include the child in goal setting and planning.
So this is what needs to happen before our next visit. I'll set up some additional therapy appointments for you, not when you have football. And you'll finish your detention and work on managing your temper at school. And I'll set up a meeting with your teacher and the school social worker to see if there's more work that we can do. You have a day off from school in a couple of weeks. And Angela and I would like to come back and talk to you about more of your ideas and visits with your mom and dad after the custody transfer. So you can be thinking about that too, okay?
Okay, are we done now?
Yes.
All right.
There are special considerations when coordinating with tribal social workers when visiting a Native American child in foster care.
What does the tribe see as best for Jonathan? Also, what post-permanency supports and services are they recommending?
Well, I am going to talk with him about doing some planning for how he can have safe visits with his parents. I also will talk with the foster parents about supports for them too. Angela and I are meeting with Jonathan and the relative foster parents in a couple of weeks. Hi, Angela.
Hi, Deb. How are you?
Good. I told Jonathan I would come see him after school today, and I wanted to get your thoughts about how things are going.
Well, Jonathan's aunt and uncle were identified as the permanency option at the family group conference a few months ago. We continue to support a permanent transfer of legal custody to them.
It is also important to support the foster parents in order to build stable placements.
I wanted to talk with you, Kathleen, to see how you're doing. I wanted to ask you if there was anything else that I could do to help you to take care of Kayla.
Well, I really appreciated the phone call last week when you told me how hard a time she was having in her old school. Roger and I were able to talk with Kayla to find out how to make it better at her new school. These visits really helped me to understand my role better.
Visits with youth in residential facilities are essential regardless of the age of the child.
You know, I noticed you seemed a little put off by Kelly. Is everything okay?
Yeah, Kelly's okay, but I don't know why she had to bring up the incident. It wasn't a big deal. It's done and over now.
Okay. Well, just so you know, it's important that the facility or group home lets me know what's happening with you.
Prepare children to have an active role during visits with their birth parents. Plan for permanency. Consultations between supervisor and social worker assure quality visits that are child-focused and support continuous improvement of agency practice.
Good afternoon, Roxanne.
Hello, Mark.
As you know, I like to check in with social workers, discuss their visits with children in foster care. It's an important part of my job. It's also important to the State Department of Human Services as a child welfare program goal. And so, tell me about a visit with a child in foster care.
Last week I went out to see Crystal in her foster home.
What were your goals for that visit?
I wanted to check in on her present circumstances, and I'm also wanting to get her voice in our out-of-home placement planning and case planning.
So how'd it go? Mission accomplished?
Absolutely.
Let's hear from Cash Hagborn about his experiences in the foster care system.
During my time in care, I know I had lots of supportive adults that accumulated over the years, such as my coaches, my wrestling coaches. I went to church, so I had my pastors, ministers, youth ministers who was there for me, and other miscellaneous supportive adults. So when I was in my independent living plan meeting, I was there sitting with them and say when things came up, oh, well, who can help wash your clothes, or who's going to be there to get Cash more clothes when he grows out of them, who's going to take him to his driver's ed, who's going to pick him up from his driver's ed, who's going to take him to practice, things like that. So during this whole independent living plan meeting, we discussed this, and I had all my supportive adults there raising their hand, trying to sign up and figure out what each of them could do for me. And so I was really shocked at that, and I was astounded by it because I never really had people in my life who would, be willing to sacrifice their time to help me in my bad time.